welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I am your host. I'm excited to have back this very beautiful human being, Caroline. Thank you so much for being here again, beautiful.
Hi, Christine. Fabulous to be here as always. Love catching up with you.
Oh, it's me too. And I must say, like I said to you just before, like we've had so much feedback from your first episode. So we'll put the link so people can go back and watch it. But I'm excited for today because we just had a quick chat before. And I think a lot of people in business struggle with imposter syndrome, struggle with like that lack of self-worth, like, am I good enough? All of those different things. But they see other people doing it and they're like, oh, well, they never have it. And
Yes.
let's debunk that right now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, firstly, comparison is the thief of joy. Because, but it's hard on social media. But the reality is, like most people have suffered imposter syndrome or low self-worth, or, each time they get to another level, they feel it again. A level in their business, a level in their personal development. We're always changing and growing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the first myth to debunk on the whole self-worth thing is you are not alone. But in saying that, and we can talk about like different strategies and ways to, get past all of that, because you are worthy. Ultimately, you are worthy of your success.
Absolutely. I think the recognition that it's there is one of the first steps. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really big on, when you're working, for me and, those who might have listened to the last podcast, but just quickly, when I got sober 15 years ago, like I was full of self-hatred, which essentially is meaning my cup of self-worth was like empty. So, I've spent the last 15 years trying to fill that cup back up. And it's taken a lot of personal development. It's taken a lot of experiences, good and bad, and a lot of achievements to get to a point. And I would say only, probably more recently in the last couple of years of feeling worthy and knowing that I 100% believe that I deserve the success I have, and have more to come. But I think I'm big on acknowledging our strengths and weaknesses. And I think people don't want to put out their weaknesses a lot because they fear judgment and they don't want to be judged. And if you've got no self-worth, the last thing you want is to be judged even further. So it's easier to put on a mask. Well, it appears easier to put on a mask and go, no, my life's brilliant. I'm doing wonderful. Look at me on social media being all this and all that, when inside you're falling apart. But the truth is, acknowledging you're falling apart is the quickest way to deal with it and move through it. And connect with all those other people out there who are feeling exactly the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's still a lot of like perceptions out there for people. Look, when you're running your business or when you become an adult, let's say when you become an adult, that you've got to have everything all together.
Yes.
I actually feel like that's when you actually start the full journey of life, is when you hit becoming an adult. Like that's when you really start learning a lot of the home truths.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I always say to my son, adulting isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Like, just enjoy your life.
I know. I've got a shirt and it says, I'm not adulting today, because I literally don't want to make any decisions. So
yeah.
that's it.
Absolutely. But I think too, that's the pressure society puts on us. It's the pressure of our own expectations.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, and I think now for me, it's like, whatever happens, I'm okay. Whatever happens is meant to happen. And I know that I'll be okay and I'll find a solution. So therefore, I'm less caught up in what I'm supposed to do or what society thinks I'm supposed to do. And when people judge or criticize my decisions, I just go, oh, okay. Okay. Because I'm okay with my decisions, and I'm okay with my decisions that end up as a failure, because I see that as an opportunity.
Yes.
So either way, I'm like winning.
Yes, absolutely. I loved how before you said you have to go through it, because a lot of people go, oh, I'll just get past it. But when you go through it, that's when the breakthroughs happen, because you're actually dealing with it and learning how to actually, when it comes up again, you then have a toolkit to fall back onto.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, like, you know, and when I go through it like with passion. There'll be lots of swearing, lots of tears, lots of outbursts, lots of chocolate, lots of sleeping, lots of meditation, lots of running, everything. And because I'm, you know, for me, I feel like blessed because of my addiction and my mental illness. I know how crucial processing my thoughts are. Because if I push, you know, what I did with alcohol and what a lot of people do with alcohol is I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel that emotion. So they find unhealthy ways to just push it down. I now go, I want to feel everything as passionately as possible, because when I do that, I get through it quicker. And it doesn't come back to haunt me.
Yes, yes. I learnt, like, when everything was falling apart and I was numb. I literally felt like I couldn't feel anything.
Yeah.
And then as I started my healing, I needed to learn all the different feelings again. Like, I needed to learn what joy felt like. I needed to learn what being happy was, being content, being sad, angry. Like, it was almost like being a baby again and
Yes.
learning it all through. Do you, like, for me, I feel like that's where a help, like, when we are healing, when we're learning to do this coping strategies for ourselves, like you said, the feeling is actually probably one of the most important parts of it.
Yeah, I'm really big on feeling how you feel. You know, I use that a lot. Like, I mean, I'm very kinesthetic anyway, so you know, my words of choice are always feel. How do you feel? But in saying that, I go, it gives me good direction on what I need to do, and I also feel really empowered that if something isn't feeling good, I know I need to make change. So it's like a little warning sign, little red flag for me going, oh, this isn't feeling good. What do I need to do? And I think that that's also really important for people to understand when you're going through crappy, shitty times. You can go, oh, but if that person, or blame this or blame that. And, you know, we can, you know, and I hear it a lot, and it is shitty, menopause, especially for women our age, but the reality is, whether it's, you know, workplace bullying even, and yes, I'm not condoning any of that or saying that doesn't exist. However, to get through those challenges, what can I do? What can I control in this situation? So yeah, if it's a workplace and, you know, you need to quit. If it's, you know, menopause and you're feeling hot flushes, fatigue, whatever, do something. And that might be go have a sleep. You know, I'm in the last couple of years, I've been queen of the nana nap,
Yes, me
because
too.
I just get this massive fatigue where I can't keep my eyes open in the middle of the day. And I go, oh gosh, I need to just go lie down. You know, lucky I work from home, so that is helpful. And, you know, ideally workplaces are becoming more aware of what women need going through that stage in life. Maybe they need, no, maybe workplaces need a little nap room for women going through menopause. But looking at what can I do to look after myself?
Yes.
Because I can sit and I can complain about how I feel and what's going on for me, but there are little things I can also do to help that.
Yeah, absolutely. like when your clients come to you
Mm,
and either they've recognized it or they haven't, and it's, the self-worth, the, you know, just the feeling of, well, am I ever going to get there?
yep.
What are some of the either the conversations or, the tools that people can use to be able to help go through the process, but then
Yep.
also allow, I think a lot of that is also then allow the receiving of the goodness to come in as well.
Yes. And so there's a few things to unpack there. I would say one is understanding why you feel that way. Okay. And as much as, and it depends on what's happened to someone. Like if there is stuff in your background, in your childhood, if there's trauma related, experience related, any of that, do the work in that area. Go and see a counselor, do whatever it takes to find that out. But also don't then get stuck in that.
Mm.
Once you know what it is and where it's come from, I guess the next thing is that whole reframing, and I do a bit of work with NLP on that. Okay, that's what you think now. How can you change that thought and that belief to go, well, this happened to me back then and it made me feel this way. I'm still feeling that way now, but I'm not back there, I'm here. Recognizing that your past doesn't have to follow you through that. And what behaviors or what things do I need to change now to make over here even better? And looking at those positive changes, looking at, what can I do what do I want? And there's a lot of work to, I guess, on working out what your values are. I always come back to, what are your core values? Because if your goal over here isn't aligned to your core values, you are going to find every way to sabotage it subconsciously or consciously. And that's where we get back to comparison, or society, where we think we've got to have multi-million-dollar business, or we have to do this and we have to do that. I say to my clients, what do you really want? If you're happy just to pay your bills and spend time at the beach every day because you don't want to work full time, then go for that. Just because, other people have goals of multi-million-dollar businesses or, whatever it is, doesn't mean you have to have that. Success is about you being happy with what you have.
Oh, I
So,
love that.
so just to understand what you have.
Yeah.
But, and I work a lot with clients, and especially in my business coaching, because we do have a lot of, highly successful people running amazing businesses and working really hard for that, because that type of success does come from a lot of hard work over a lot of years. However, if that's not really what you want as a person, then just set your goals at where you want. Find out what success means to you. And again, that comes back to when you're doing stuff, what makes you feel good.
Yeah. I love that. I think we all see, I mean, it's like the Instagram of life of,
Yeah.
you follow all these people and like, oh my
Yeah.
God, that's what success looks like. This is what it does.
Yes.
But we are all very unique individuals. And I
Yes.
think that most of the time we never actually ask ourselves the question, what do we want? We just go
No.
with what society tells us what we should be having.
Yeah. It's like young kids of today. There'll be the older generation who still think they're stupid because they're spending all their money on experiences, not assets and houses. But for them, they go, I don't want to live that life.
Yeah.
Or, for a lot of them now, it's quite unachievable.
Yes.
Realistically, for many of them, it's unachievable, and they would rather experience life and live their life to the fullest because that means more to them and that's their idea of success. And I think it's about then, again, not judging them.
Yeah.
I'm very big on we're all unique, as we are. And only we know what is really true to us. So when I work with clients, I'm very big on drawing out what they really want rather than setting goals, for them.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I go like, your goals, and I think people even know how to get to their goals. And it's much more empowering when they have that intrinsic motivation to do that. But it has to be, like I said, their goal.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. I think a lot of the time you can work with coaches, and this has even been my experience in the
Yeah,
past. You need to be earning, the
yeah,
$50,000 months. You need to be doing this. And at the time, it did not sit with me because I'm like going, oh, I mean, I know there was a lot of lack of self-worth.
yep,
However, it was more about the impact that I wanted to create, not
yes.
the monetary value. And that caused that sort of discomfort within, but also it actually allowed me not to even want to pursue the business for quite a while.
No, and I right early on had worked out that my drive was impact.
Yeah.
I totally had like really bad money mindset as well, but I worked on all of that. So yeah, I'm happy to make lots of profit and lots of money now because
Yes.
I know that's part of my impact. But
Yes.
it doesn't drive me. So
Yes.
when we're talking money goals, I'm like, yeah, but if I just do what I love and do that, the money will come. So I have to do it that
Yes.
way. Yeah, if I'm just setting money goals, I'm completely disconnected. And interestingly, on that, I would say there are many coaches out there who want people to achieve money goals because it makes them look good
Mm,
in society.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Opposed to achieving the business goal that they had
yes.
set,
Yeah.
we focus on the monetary value. I'm a big believer like in the energy of what you put out there,
Yes.
the intent that you set, then it
Yeah.
will come back to you.
Yeah.
But also timing's important too. I think
Oh,
it's timing within self, timing within the
yeah.
world, all those different things all play a part into it as
Yeah. And
well.
lots of things happen. And that's where, like, too, I would say that whole, consistency over time,
Yes.
I think is the biggest, one of the biggest things to do because sometimes we have to like think, like I said, other things happen. So, priorities change around a little bit, or, the direction we're heading, something happens and we go, oh, that's not really my direction. I can change here. And being okay and adaptable and flexible with all of that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think though too, like that's where that imposter syndrome comes in then. And like you experience, it's then self-defeating if, we're setting this goal over here, but we're not really motivated by our values to be there, or we feel pressure, or we feel like it's not aligned, then like we do whatever it is that sabotages it, or we don't achieve it, or we procrastinate, all those things that come with chasing goals that aren't really our goals. And all that does is then makes us have less self-worth and more imposter syndrome because then we feel like we've failed to become this person that we didn't really want to be in the first place, which is really weird. Like I love humans, but we're really complicated.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. What I have found the biggest thing is, I mean, I started my personal development journey before I started my business, but
Mm,
a lot of the people that I talk to, when they're starting their business, they realize that the personal development side of things actually opens up more so than sometimes the drive for the business, because
yes.
they realize that the business part is actually, I don't want to use the word conflict. There's another word that will come to me, but it's actually giving them the opportunity. That's word, giving them the opportunity now to work on themselves. Because
Yes.
I always say that going into business is the biggest personal development thing that you'll ever do.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I believe if you can get yourself, and I work really hard, I'm lucky, the company I work for, subcontract to, Aaron Sansoni, is very much around your life pillars as well as your business. And I've just been at a 4-day event, and our first day, Evolve, is purely about you.
Yes.
Because that sets you up then to be able to do all the amazing strategies in business. But if you're still struggling with who you are or your self-worth, or you've got, that money mindset, limiting beliefs, all of that stuff, if you're sitting in that and not working on that, then it's going to be much harder or a longer process to get to those other successful goals in your business. Or for many people, they do the work and they work really hard and they get all their business goals, but they're still not happy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, how do you have it all? And I think, one of the main things for having it all, which we can have, is starting from the inside out.
Yes. Yeah. I love it that you said that we can have it all, because a lot of people sit there and like, well, it's either the business success or whether or not it's a family success. Like, people don't realize that you can actually blend the two. I do believe it's about values, and I don't believe that there's actually a good thing about balance, because you're always going to be on a seesaw with everything with it. But when you are in full alignment with your personal values, with your business values, that's when I feel like the true happiness, the contentment, and the allowing of the success really starts to unfold.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And we talk about blend, work-life blend, in the sense that, yeah, some days, some weeks you're going to be full on business, and then you've got family, but at the same time, like, I'm really big on, regardless of all of that, like, your physical and mental health has to be a priority on all of that, because you just literally can't do the other stuff if you're not looking after that. So I'm huge on that. But I think, yeah, business is definitely, if you're aligned with it, and like I said, there'll be challenging times, and that's life. Life's always going to throw challenging things. So I think that's the thing when people start business too. It's like, we always say, an entrepreneur becomes an entrepreneur, leaves their corporate jobs often, or, wherever it is in their, wherever they've been working, for freedom and money. And the first thing you usually lose as an entrepreneur is freedom and money.
Yes.
And that's the struggle so many people have at the start. But that's where you have to go, yeah, it's not an overnight. For some people it is as well. It's not an overnight success, and there'll be times where, you won't have the balance, and some things will be going well and some things won't. And just, I think, being okay with all of that. And understanding that all of that is the normal progression of life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know the importance of having a coach with it. If someone's listening right now and they're just on that journey of starting a business, and they're like going, I think I'll wait to get a coach. What are your views? For me, I will say personally, I think you need to get a coach straight away.
Yes. Well, I still, even myself, as a coach, I have a coach and a mentor. So it's just going to make the journey quicker. And that's around accountability, being accountable to someone to actually get those goals done each week. And then there's the support. And again, business and personal is important to have, whether you have one coach who does both or separate coaches in both those areas, as long as they're both aligned with each other. You can have like specialist coaches in every area. Like, if you can afford to have a coach and specialists and mentors, like, your life will just change dramatically. And if you can't, and this is where the money mindset thing comes in a little bit too, because there's also, I will also say, can you afford not to have one?
Yes, definitely.
And a lot of people do that, like, whether it's, marketing or all these things, like, they go, I can't afford it. But realistically, you know, depending on your goals, you may not achieve your goals without that. So then it just becomes a longer, drawn out process. But at the same time, I've got clients who, you know, or people I know who can't afford it. And if you can't, then there are other ways. You know, there's so much online learning and podcasts and listening to us, you know, get like, if you can't, you're not at that stage or you're unsure, then use all those available resources that are out there and find people that align with your values as well. And that's a big one, because there's no point listening to podcasts or doing learning if, again, what we spoke about, it's not really what you want.
Yes.
And you think it's what you want, or so that's where you need to do like the deep work and go, well, what do I really want out? You know, what do I really want out of life? Who do I want to be? I always, you know, I'm okay with like talking death and all that sort of stuff, because and I know people find it uncomfortable. However, like for me, I'm very big on like what do I want? What do I want to be remembered for?
Yeah.
You know, when I'm no longer here. I mean, I'm hoping science does a lot of work in the next 20 years. So because, you know, I'd love to, you know, have that longevity thing going. Well, because I've got lots to do, but the reality is I go, well, you know, at some point when I'm not here, who do I want to be remembered as? What legacy do I want to leave to the world? And that helps me drive what I do every single day towards that goal.
Yeah, I'm very big on legacy. Absolutely. Like my whole business is all legacy. It's, you know, it's the ripple effect that you're going to leave behind more than what I could ever imagine. So that for me is super important. If somebody were sitting there listening to this and they're like going, oh my goodness, this seems overwhelming for me, because they might have just be thinking of starting a business. What's a tip that you would, you know, a piece of wisdom that you would leave for somebody who's thinking of starting their own business?
So if you are thinking of starting your business, like absolutely go for it. Don't be scared that you have to have everything set up perfectly. I think that, you know, if I look back on my journey, I go like I was a bit of a perfectionist and, you know, bought all the websites and all the everything, you know, and I could have started off with less and just gone out there and done stuff. So don't worry if you don't have all that set up. Definitely, if you can, get a business coach or at least be in a networking group where you're around like-minded people. But depending on what your reasons for wanting to start, if at the same time, if you're working and it's an okay job, like if it's a toxic job, I'm like all for just quit and work it out, because the negative impact of staying in that environment is worse than anything else. And we're lucky to live in Australia where the government does look after us, you know, even if we're not doing anything. Like realistically, you know, we still have health cover. We'll still get, I know, like, you know, and I think the rate of Centrelink is terrible. However, it's still an income. You know, there's still some money. But if you can, you know, for a lot of people, like start your side gig while you're still in the business with, you know, while you're still working, if you can, you know, just start a side gig, reduce your hours, go part-time if you can, you know, do something. So you've still got security as well. Like I would never, you know, I know, and I see it a lot where people say, oh, just start, you know, and take the risk. Risk is great and you need to take lots of risks in business. However, it's okay to have calculated risks, you know, and be smart about it. Because there's nothing worse than being in financial stress when you're trying to start a business. It can be enough financial stress being in the business, even with resources. But if you don't have a lot of financial resources behind you, you know, it's probably going to set you up to have a more challenging start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, a great way is partnerships. Partner with someone else, you know, find other people who are doing what you do, and get support that way as
Yeah.
well. You don't have to do it by yourself, I guess, is my key message.
Absolutely. I think find your tribe, like
Yeah.
you know, find people that you can that are going to love on you, support you
Mm,
with it, because it's a big journey. You
yes.
know, going into business.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of new things that you're going to learn. So
Yeah.
that word fear, it's
Yes.
a hot topic today. Um, so it comes up and it's going to could polarize you. However, I would say embrace it,
Yeah, yeah,
and go with
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, what's the worst that can happen?
Yes.
But like that, you know, there's what's the worst that can happen, but there's also probably, which is more powerful, is what will happen in 12 months' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, if you don't make those changes today.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
do you really want to be, you know, sitting, you know, 12 months down the track going, oh, if only I'd done this, or
Mm,
I'm still miserable doing what I'm doing? Because life, I go, you know, life is short. Even if we live a long life, it's still short. It's still a
yes.
relatively short period of time. And like, again, it comes back to that worthiness.
Mm,
Like, you actually deserve to be happy. You deserve to walk through life doing things that you love.
mm,
You deserve to be surrounded by people who support you. You
yeah.
deserve respect and that from the people around you.
Yeah.
And when you understand that, or you start finding that, then things change. And then it, like I
Mm,
said, it doesn't really, the outcomes aren't as important, because every day is fabulous. And
mm,
every day you're enjoying the journey of whatever it is you're creating.
yeah. I, I think you're absolutely amazing. You know how much I adore you. We're going to pop the links of how people can reach out to you if you are in business already, if you are starting a business, you know, reach out to Carolyn, have a chat with her, because I look, I have 3 coaches that I work with.
Yeah.
And it has been the biggest investment. However, the biggest growth that I've had personally and also within my business by having coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. A ditto.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. We're going to pop the link of where you'll be able to go and watch Caroline's backstory as well. So if you want to, you can go back and watch our first episode and really share her story of how she's been able to transform and how to be able to, you know, go through so many healing journeys, and really embrace that and now be able to use those learnings to help other people. I think what you're doing is truly remarkable as well. So I'm so grateful for you for sharing your gifts with us again.
Thank you, Christine. And of course, I love what you do and I love being here. And to everyone out there listening, you are enough exactly as you are. So just chase whatever it is that makes you happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, beautiful, for being here. Thank you for everyone for watching this episode. Remember to live life to the fullest. Love and light to you all.